Okay, did you finish The Chair Company? Because if you didn't, scroll. There's gonna be spoilers, and I want to talk about what happens next. The show is so great, and I love everyone involved. Tim Robinson, Zach Cannon, all of them. It's also the most ridiculous and most messed up show I've ever seen in a while, in a great way. Okay, so who's Stacy Crystals, right? That's the big question. And remember, he's the guy in the beginning of that last episode that got by the little kid. And he's also the guy who shows up when he's looking through Jeff, his boss's papers, because he was looking through those files that he found on the wall. And he's friends with Jeff's boss and part of Red Ball Marketing. Okay, side note, they really didn't have to include this clip when he's spitting because he's so excited about the papers, but they did, and I love it. In order to understand The Chair Company, I think you need to understand the other masterpieces that were done by Tim Robinson and Zach Cannon, which is I Think You Should Leave and Detroiters. As you might remember, there was a great skit in I Think You Should Leave about an adult man that tricks other adult men into thinking they're going to become stars. He tells them they're going to be great singers, and then it ends up that he's just ripping them off and taking their money.
All right, don't start this with me, Robbie. I can't sing.
Guaranteed goddamn hit, all right?
It's not exactly in my cue zone, is it?
I mean, it's gonna be a hit, but you have to relax.
Really good one. That's just a reference so we can try and predict what's going to happen next in The Chair Company. Obviously, Tim and Zach really love that joke and are really tickled by old dear dudes that get a little embarrassed and then a little angry and really obsessed with the thing that got them embarrassed. So I think Stacy Crystals is just like the guy in this clip, Connor O'Malley's character. He's a guy that's ripping guys off and trying to convince them that they can be great singers and stars. He even says that in the beginning when he's trying to convince that woman's dad to go to Hollywood. Okay, so now, if you look closely, which I did, because I'm obsessed with this show, I don't know if anybody else paid attention to the episode titles in the Chair Company season, but they have some revealing information. Okay, first one, Brown Derby Historic Vids, little bit of Hollywood, okay. That turns out to be a real place. It used to be a restaurant in Hollywood where they invented the Cobb salad. And it was a restaurant that was shaped like a hat, like a Brown Derby hat. And it was famous because famous people would go there, and the tables were situated in such a way that they were kind of soundproof. So you could sit across from people and gossip about Hollywood stuff, and nobody else would hear it. So remember in that last episode, Ron also finds a picture of his boss, Jeff, with Stacy Crystals and this famous actor that they know. And they're sitting at a restaurant, and I think it's Brown Derby restaurant. Yeah. Okay, so you saw that. I forgot to mention, the thing was you could sit under your own picture of famous people if you wanted to. All right, so here's some more weird stuff. Okay, last episode, Minnie Mouse coming back wasn't on my bingo card. So we know that that dog that was originally called Baby, when Ron got him, was actually called Minnie Mouse when he returns it back to that guy that invented a shape. And he asked the guy to tag him because he wants to be a hero on Instagram. And then you can see in the show when he does, there's some people that comment. Noodle Battery 1, real guy. Noodle Battery 1 started following me too. But who is this guy? And who the heck was Bald Harmon? Episode 4, Bald Harmon birthplace disputed. But then when you screenshot it, it says right here, born Steubenville, Ohio. But his birthplace is not disputed. And you know what's crazy? All this show is supposed to be taking place in Ohio. But the only thing interesting about Steuben, Ohio seems to be that that's where Dean Martin was born. And now they have a bunch of murals. But back to the Hollywood gossipy restaurant. It doesn't exist anymore, but there is another one in Ohio, a chain of restaurants called Derby Restaurants. And it's a steak place, you know, like where they might serve sloppy steaks. So what does this all mean? I think the next season is going to be more to do with this pyramid scheme of getting dads to think that they could be stars. And maybe the whole show will end up being a satirical commentary about how Hollywood is actually filled with very average people who either just got lucky or did enough stuff to get to stardom. But I have no idea who Amanda's boyfriend is. That part was weird. Tell me what your theory is and if you think I'm right. I did see some Tekka chairs in the garbage area where I live in LA, and I don't know if they're onto me, but we'll see.